Hi, people. So there is a video of Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, giving an interview after or during the time that he was here in the U.S. early in the week by the occasion of the 20-point peace treaty that he presented with Trump. And in that interview, which is kind of a weird, he talks about a TikTok, he talks about several stuff, and he says that one of the most, if not the most important time in history, everybody's talking now about the most important time in history, is actually the U.S. government brokering the sale of TikTok to American companies. There is something behind that. There is something behind that. Have you heard about Serge Monast? Serge Monast. So let me read a little bit about him. He was born in 1945, died in 1996. He was a Canadian investigative journalist, poet, and conspiracy theorist from Quebec, Canada. Yes, sometimes good things come from Canada. So what happened is that Serge Monast, he started doing some investigative research about the New World Order and how the elites, and how the Masons, and how U.S. government agencies, specifically NASA, the devil's tongue, basically how, excuse me, Daisy, stop it. So it's Daisy. So basically, he started doing this research, and he wrote some articles. And I am actually reading some of them. It is in French, but then I'm translating some of these articles to English. And he wrote some articles, and in something very interesting happened, because he wrote a paper, an article about the Project Blue Beam. And what happened is that when he wrote and published that article about Project Blue Beam, his children was taken away from him because they were homeschooling. And the Canadian government said, you are abusing your children. And they took his children away from him. Of course, he went ballistic, he went crazy, and I mean, it was a horrible time in his life. But what happened is, and he never got his children back. But then what happened is that a few days, weeks, something like that, after the Canadian government took his children away, he suddenly died. And they said it was a heart attack. Because you see, Charlie Kirk died in a minute. They already knew the shooter was 200 feet away. It was such and such weapon, and they knew everything. And with Serge Monast was exactly the same thing. He died, and immediately they said he had a heart attack. Let me tell you what he writes, or what he wrote in this Project Blue Beam deal. He writes about artificial earthquakes to discover evidence undermining major religions. Then he talks about a massive holographic light show in the sky depicting religious figures. 3-eye Atlas, like a 3-eye, like the third eye Atlas, and Atlas is a Nephilim. Some of you knew that, right? Third eye Atlas. We might see very soon in this month of October, if Jesus doesn't come back, and I hope he does, we might see something in the skies that will be completely crazy. Then he talks about artificial telepathic communication, and that does exist. Here's a guy that worked with defense and all that crap. It does work. They can send waves from far away, and if you have seen, they are putting these cellular 5G short antennas everywhere. It's not for the cell phone. It's what is called artificial telepathic communication. They will, and they're already doing it. They're testing everywhere. But they will massively start sending waves to basically produce thoughts in your mind. That is completely possible. Remember that movie? It's not the Avengers, but Wolverine. And remember, I don't watch much movies, but remember, so there is an older guy that he has a helmet to protect his thoughts, because there is another guy that telepathic, would put thoughts in his head. So he had a helmet. I made a helmet. I made a helmet. This is my grandchild's helmet. And this is my helmet. Yes, I am prepared. Because there are going to be artificial telepathic communication. And then I staged global event leading to a single world government. We are seeing stuff happen that literally is completely crazy. And Serge Monast told us about it, and I'll talk about another article that he wrote sometime in the near future. Be ready. Jesus is coming back. Amen.